Okay, welcome to part two. If you are just now joining us, make sure you go back and watch part one, like right now, so you are familiar where we've left off at. We're in the middle of upgrading from Debian Stable to Debian Trixie, which is the next stable version coming out. And if you missed that, or if you want to correct that, make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you click that notification bell and click that like button. It helps the algorithm out, helps the channel out. Anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get continued on. Wow. Anyway, for those of you that have watched the first video, welcome back. Again, I have not done anything other than finish that update where we left off at, or the upgrade I should say. And we are going to now do our very first reboot after that. It's going to be a Control L to clear the screen, and then we're just going to do a sudo reboot. While that's rebooting, if you don't mind, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section below on what you felt about the first video. Was it too long? Did I go too fast? Did I talk too much? Do I sound like an alien? You know, just anything you'd like to leave. Go ahead and leave a comment on that. You can also comment on this video here. And again, to get notified of future videos, make sure you are subscribed and ring that bell. All right, so let's go ahead and get logged back in. And now we are no longer on Debian Stable, which is Bookworm. We're now on Debian Trixie, which is currently in testing. It will be released as the next stable version later on this year. And the way we can tell that is we go into here. Let's go ahead and maximize this again like we did before. And then we will control crank that up. Okay, now we can do uname -a. And we can tell here that we're now on Debian 6.12.20. It was on 6.1. This kernel was compiled on March 23rd, 2025. According to our clock, that was 6 days ago. There's another way we can tell what version we're on. And basically, that is to go in here, and it is this info center. This currently says Debian 12, but that's because Trixie's still in testing. They're still working out all the bugs before they actually release it. But this gives us an idea of what we are currently working on here. Kernel version 6.12. So let's go ahead and get moving. All right, so the next thing I want to do from there is I want to go and get our multimedia codecs. We are going to get that from Deb Multimedia, and this is the only third-party repository I ever use with Debian. It's a deb-multimedia.org. Okay, that does lead me up to a little bit of a rant. I don't particularly use repos, or I'm sorry, distributions that lean heavily on unvetted user-supplied repositories and software packages. Not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying I personally stay away from it. I shy away from it. I like my system to be completely cohesive and from the same people. If I have the base of the operating system by Debian, I want the repos as much as possible to also be by Debian. I know the pieces work. They fit together the way they're supposed to. We don't have a whole bunch of different packages coming in from different places. And it's just a personal preference of mine. And that, by the way, happens to be the only reason I do not use Arch. All right, so I'm going to copy this. We have to download this keyring. Shift insert. And we're just using a tool called wget to retrieve this file. And now what we're going to do is we're going to install it with this next package, or this next command here. And this is the keyring for the signatures on the packages. Like I said, I don't use unvetted repositories. And again, this is going to be a shift insert. It also happens to be one of the reasons why I love OpenBSD. Let's talk about that for a second. OpenBSD is not Linux. None of the BSD family members, not even Mac, none of them. FreeBSD, none of them are Linux. They're Unix-like, just like Linux is. So a lot of the commands that you see, especially in the CLI Basics that's coming up after I'm done with this series, those are interchangeable. sudo can work on OpenBSD or FreeBSD if sudo is installed. BSDs use do as instead of sudo. Arguably better, arguably worse. Take it as you want to. But it's very similar. All right, so what we're doing here is we are on Trixie. So we need to use this one right here, actually. We're going to do something a little different, though. See, they've changed the way that the files are laid out. I'm cheating here. I'm going to copy this, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to sudo nano, Control L to clear the screen, Shift insert. We're going to edit that file, and we're going to see if it likes the new format yet, because they're changing the way these files look in Trixie. This should work. And it did. It pulled it in. That's fine. All right. So this multimedia site, and that's basically what it's for. It's dedicated to Debian, vanilla Debian, proper Debian, not Ubuntu's or Linux Mint. It's for Debian. You might be able to use it in Linux Mint Debian Edition. I don't know. I've never tried. There's 1,028 packages ready to be installed simply by putting in this multimedia repo. And what it's going to update, let's see here, apt list upgradable, is your VLCs. It's going to upgrade your drivers, Wayland. It's going to update all kinds of other codecs and things like that. And again, we're going to do the same thing we did before. Sudo apt upgrade. Actually, what we could do is do a full upgrade, because I did notice there was one other thing, and I'll talk about it briefly. When I did not do this on purpose, but it was an accident. But we're going to learn from it right now. So when I went into system information, this is still on KDE Plasma 5.27. Okay, that's the stable version there. Okay, Trixie uses KDE Plasma 6. You notice it didn't get pulled in, and the reason why it did not get pulled in, and we're going to correct that right now, is when I did my upgrade, I just did a standard sudo apt upgrade. When you're upgrading between versions, like from stable to testing or from testing to SID, you want to do a full upgrade. That way it pulls in all of the packages. Okay, so now what we're going to do here is when I hit enter, it's going to do another 1,000 files. This is going to be 1.2 gigs. It's going to take up 1.4 or 1.5 gigs of space when it's done. It's going to upgrade KDE Plasma to 6. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter and let that get started. And that's going to take a while, obviously, so I'm going to go ahead and pause the video again. See you in a bit. Okay, now that that is done, what we're going to do next is we're going to do another reboot. Control L to clear the screen. Sudo reboot. And we'll let that reboot. While that's rebooting, let me know in the comment section below if you like the way I am explaining all these commands that I'm doing. I'm doing one command and parameter at a time. I'm explaining what the command does, like when I explain what sudo is. Nano is the text editor, and we're just taking one parameter at a time, or one command at a time. Oh, yay. That's awesome. Huh. Something broke. This is Control Alt F4. No. LTL. Okay, so the control Alt F4, you can use any of them from 1 to 7 or 8 or whatever. Your default is going to be either on like Control Alt F7 or Control Alt F1. And basically what this does is it gives you the ability to bypass the graphic login screen to drop back to the command line to do some troubleshooting. That was caused by the default Breeze theme not being installed, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, let's just Control L that. Let's do an apt list installed. I'm going to rep for Breeze. Okay, so basically what this command does is we're using apt. We don't have to be the super user unless we are installing or removing or purging or cleaning. If we're just getting lists, we don't have to use sudo. So I'm going to do apt list. I'm going to list the installed packages, and then I'm piping that to another utility called grep. The -I means case insensitive, so I can literally do this if I wanted to, and it would match on all cases. This way I don't have to remember how it's capitalized. And we will get into more about piping commands and things like that in the video series. But the issue is it looks like they are all installed. That one looks like it's upgradable though. It says it's installed, but it's upgradable. Install. Let's do an install recommends. And that's going to be stdm theme Debian Breeze. I'm going to reinstall this package. Hopefully it will upgrade and maybe fix that issue. There we go. So it looks like it does have some more installing to do. We'll go ahead and let that run. Anyway, back to my question. If you like me to slow down and explain what every single command, every parameter is, please let me know in the comment section below. This is actually kind of important. I have not started recording the CLI series yet, but I'm going to soon. And if you like that kind of presentation, I would really like to know so I can continue to present things in that manner. Come on, let's finish up here at 99%. There we go. So now we're just going to reboot again and see if that fixed it. It should have, though. So far, so good. Ta-da! It now works. A little bit of on-the-fly troubleshooting going on there. So yeah, if you want me to continue to do that, where I break down all the commands for you in that fashion, please let me know in the comment section below. All right, so we're going to go back to our normal setup here. Actually, before I get too carried away with that though, let's go ahead and crank that up. We are going to look at our versions now. Info Center. It's like something failed. Oh, this is why it's called testing, by the way. Oh, okay. All right, so anyway, from here what we would end up doing is I would pull in my wallpaper so I can change my wallpaper out real quick. But I think we have bigger problems and this install may have been borked. And if that's the case, then there's no point in continuing. There we go. Okay, and things have been moved around a little bit. They've been reclassified or recategorized in here. I don't want dimming brightness either. As you can tell, these are completely different now. Quick settings, that should be set at select, right? Okay. All right. So to do that, I am going to use a tool called rsync, and I'm going to see if it's installed first. So I'm just going to type rsync and then hit enter. If it does not come back with an error message, then it's installed. Let's talk about something else before we do rsync real quick. Let's do a sudo apt install, and we're going to do a command -not -found, and I also want package kit -command not found. Put in our password. Okay, so what that does is, well, I have to do a sudo apt update too. That way it updates the package list for that command. Oh, okay. So this here is new for Trixie, this apt modernize sources. It changes the way the default files look. Like, so for example, we have a sudo nano etc apt sources. This is the old way. This is the old way it looks, okay? And if we remember when we did DMO, it looks like this. Well, this is the new way. So that's what that apt modernize sources is going to do. And we'll go ahead and modernize it while we're at it. Okay, so that one's already been done. And basically what it did is it moved the .sources, it rewrote it to the new file format, and then moved it to the drop-in directory. And we'll talk about drop-ins in the command line series. All right, but let's go ahead and look at it. Sudo nano apt, etc apt. Oh, I can't type. Sources.d, and we want to look at Debian, and that's what it did. It changed it to look like that. So that was the exact same file. All right, does look like we have some more upgradable things here. So let's take a look at that apt list. It might actually fix that other problem that's still persisting. Yeah, it looks like it's going to. So let's go ahead and run through it. And it actually ended up being a fairly dirty install. And I do apologize that this is taking so long. But it's a good thing, though, really. I mean, we're doing some troubleshooting on the fly. Without doing a whole bunch of video editing. We're learning how to do things and troubleshoot, which is part of the expectation from Linux on its users. Is unlike other operating systems like Windows or Mac, who insists on holding your hand. They are in control of your operating system, and you just have to take what they give you, kind of thing. Linux is like the complete opposite. Linux assumes you know what you're doing. You're the one that's in the driver's seat. You're the one that's in control. And to some people, that might it might make it feel like it's intimidating, or it might cause them to go back to or stay on Windows because they don't want that much control, or they don't want that much responsibility. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to downgrade these people or insult them or anything else. If that's you, then that's you. That's the path that you should probably be on. No judgments whatsoever. Linux requires a specific type of user. And Linux is a DIY operating system. You do it yourself for the most part. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pause this so I'm not rambling on and on and on while this finishes. Give me a second. Okay, we are back. Control L clears the screen. Sudo reboot. Also, if you like the way these troubleshooting sessions are going, and you want me to keep these in future videos, which I plan on doing, but let's hear your feedback on it. If you want me to keep them in, or if it really annoys you and it confuses you, let me know in the comment section below, and we will address that accordingly. So I'm going ahead and reboot it again. We're going to see. It does look like so far so good. And ultimately this came down to me forgetting to do that full upgrade back when I switched it to Trixie. So this is all my fault that this upgrade ended up being so poor. System info. There we go. It's opened. We're at 6.3.2. We are on kernel 6.12 using Wayland. It's now working the way it's supposed to be. That kind of thing. Awesome. Not sure what happened to Firefox there. I mean, it was there, but we don't need it right now anyway. All right, so let's go ahead and pick up where we left off at. So we're going to go ahead and no title frame there. Control, crank that up a bit. All right, so as I was saying before 2 reboots ago, is we're going to use the rsync command. Basically what rsync does is it allows you to synchronize files between a source and a destination. So it's going to be rsync, then you have options, and then it's going to be source and target. Okay, so the options are the little flags that are put in there. I'm going to use AV because what that's going to do is it's going to synchronize all of them, and the V means verbose. And what I'm going to do is the source is going to be where I'm pulling the files from, and the target is where those files need to go to. Okay, sometimes the source is local, sometimes the source is remote, sometimes the target is local, sometimes the target is remote, but it's always in this order: rsync, options, source, target. Okay, so where the files are coming from, where the files are going to. So in this here, I'm doing it all verbose, and I need to pull some files from my server, which is 192.168.0.55 : now the path that those files are located at on the server, which is going to be in my home directory. My name is Scott, by the way. So home Scott pictures should be wallpaper. I don't think that's capitalized. It'll tell me, it'll complain if it's wrong here in just a second. And I am going to put that here in pictures wallpaper on my local machine, but I don't need to type that big long path out. I can just do a ~/pictures. And it'll change it for me when I hit tab and wallpaper. And you will learn those little tricks as we go along through the command line series. Make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell so you know when those are coming. So as a breakdown again, we're using the rsync command. I'm doing an all verbose for my options. I have to pull the files remotely from my server, : the path on the server, and where I want those files to be going to. So the 192.168.0.55 : home Scott pictures wallpaper is the source. Home LTL pictures wallpaper is the target. And hit enter. So now it's doing a remote connection. This is the first time we've done a remote connection to the server since we've installed. So we do not have the fingerprint key, or we do not have the SSH key. So what we need to do is, so what we need to do is go ahead and hit yes and let that come through. And now it wants LTL's password. If you read it right here, it says LTL's password. Well, it's not in LTL's home directory. It's in Scott's home directory. So what we're going to do is we're going to Control C, and yes, I did that on purpose. And we're going to go ahead and up, Control L to clear the screen. And we need to tell it that this is actually in Scott's home directory at 192.168.0.55. So user at server : path. I'm going to try that again. Now you see that it's asking for Scott's password and not LTL's password. And there it goes. It's going to just start pulling in all of that wallpaper I have. All right, we're done there. Control L to clear the screen. Let me minimize this for just a second. I'm going to go in here to this folder. Looks like some things are still a little broken. That's all right, it'll work for this video. So we don't need this key anymore, or that package, so we're going to go ahead and delete that. Don't need these directories either, really. All right, so in pictures, we now have wallpaper, and here is my wallpaper for my widescreen monitor, and this is for my standard monitor here. Let's do this one here. I'm going to right click on that, and I'm going to set this one as, it doesn't have the option to do that. That is weird. This install is definitely broken. I should have the option in here to set that as the wallpaper. So let's do this a little differently. I'm going to right click desktop wallpaper, and then we're going to add from wallpaper standard, and then I want my Jaguar open, which is this thing right here. Apply and OK. Now I'm going to go ahead and put that wallpaper on that screen that we log into as well. I'm going to hide those. System settings. If you don't remember which menu things are in, you can always just type it out down here. Once you start typing, it'll show you what you're looking for, or help you guess anyway. This needs to go into colors and themes, and it's not here yet. Okay, I did forget about this. There's one item that's missing in this menu here, and that is the SDDM theme. That's done intentionally. This is testing. Trixie will have it by the time it's stable. It's just not currently in Trixie at the moment. But it will be down here next to splash screen. It'll say login screen, and in parentheses it'll say SDDM. So we'll have to bypass that for now. All right, so once that's done there, almost completely done. Sudo apt update. I don't remember if we did that or not. $23 more packages ready to go. And it happens that way because you're on testing. They might actually be releasing packages and ready to go. I do not need to reboot after those. Yes, I do. Plasma desktop. Dang it. All right. Fine. Sudo apt upgrade. Oh, it's okay. So what it did is it told me I had 23, and here's those 23 it listed. But notice it says it's not upgrading. So it's available. They just haven't been released yet. But it looks like we do have some cleanup we can do here with apt auto remove. This is going to remove all the old packages from the previous version. So Control L, sudo apt auto clean, or I'm sorry, auto remove. And we'll just go ahead and let that run. Looks like it might be going fast enough. Looks like my Firefox icon came back. This is a really dirty upgrade. This is a poor example of how this is supposed to happen. Now, if you're wanting to be on Trixie straight from the get-go instead of doing the upgrade like I did, and by the way, that's probably the worst upgrade I have ever done in the 25 plus years I've been using Debian. It's usually very smooth. But also at the same time, again, that's my fault because I did sudo apt upgrade and not sudo apt full dash upgrade. So that's a lesson to learn, that you can actually mess things up completely if you enter things in the wrong sequence. Do not let that scare you, though. It's part of the learning process. Let's go ahead and reboot this again. If I had a lot more to talk about, I would go ahead and break this apart. We're at 29 minutes. Actually, I might do it anyway because there is still some more things I want to do. So while this is rebooting, I'm going to go ahead and cut it here, and I will see you here in just a second.